Good day, listeners, and welcome to this very special program with a very dear priest whom God has sent to us on our island for a brief moment. His name is Father Patrick Esekon from the St. Patrick's Missionary Society, or from Kiltegan Fathers, as most of you in Grenada would know. We are here at their very special home, the Kiltegan House, and we are going to be speaking with this priest who has been here for a couple of weeks now. We should have caught him before, but this is the time God has given to us. So welcome to this very special program with you, dear Father Patrick.
Thank you.
Yes. So you've been here for a while now, and you've been here on a very special mission. Of course, we want to know something of your being here. What was this special mission for being here for the past few weeks?
Thank you for having me in this interview. And as you've rightly said there, I'm Father Patrick. And I came here on mission visit to Father Sean, who is our Kiltegan member remaining now in Grenada, in this island. In all fairness, our mission visitations are meant to animate our members in the missions, being with them, witnessing their ministry, the different apostolates, and listening to their own experiences as well. And as leadership, find ways of supporting them in the missions.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, I know you've had your third chapter, and you have had your elections in that way, and you are serving as one of the counselors. Yes. Share with us on your specific role as a counselor.
In 2022, we had our 13th chapter, and in Ireland, which is our mother house or mother country. And in that chapter, election of the new leadership was carried out. And that chapter had delegates drawn from all over the society members working in different parts of the world. All of them were gathered in Ireland for a duration of almost 2 weeks. And then at the elections, after a process of discernment, eventually we elected the chapter elected central leadership team. The central leadership team is a terminology that envisages working together of those who have been elected into the leadership of the society. It's a kind of a little deviation from the use of the old terminology of superior general and all that, to a kind of an understanding that yes, the leadership of the society has to, is carried out by the 4 elected members who form central leadership, but they are headed by the society leader. And then you have a society leader, and then you have assistant society leader, and then you have 2 councillors.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 councillors.
Okay.
So in our 13th chapter, that was the first time the society or the chapter elected an African as a society leader from Nigeria.
Yes.
And then assistant society leader is an Irishman. Society leader is called Father Richard Philima, he's a Nigerian. And then assistant society leader is called Sean Kremen, he's an Irish man. And then
not Father Sean here.
Yeah, not our own Father Sean Doggett, but Sean Kremen.
Yes.
And then I am the first councillor, Father Patrick from Kenya. And the 4th councillor is a Zambian.
Okay.
Yeah, called Father Raphael Mwendwa.
Okay.
Yeah. So all of us now are based in Kenya, where our central leadership headquarters are operating from. Yeah, we moved from Ireland a few years ago, and now we're operating from Kenya. Yeah.
Though I know a lot of work has gone in, and even Grenada is very grateful to the Kiltegan Fathers who have graced our shows over the years. Many of them are no longer here, but we do have Father Sean with us, and it's a great privilege, and not just a privilege, but it's a great gift to our diocese to have Father Sean here, and of course the Kiltegans who have served. So I want to say how grateful we are as a diocese and as a lay person to have had the experience, of these priests who have served here. So as you mentioned, you have your central leadership, and Pope Francis speaks a lot of this co-responsibility. Is that somehow the kind of understanding in this team leadership that governs the organization?
Yeah, we can say that way, yes. In the spirit of synodality, I think the key, the church envisages a situation whereby leadership is co-shared, you know, and St. Patrick's Mission Society has actually inculcated that in the way, in our leadership and in our governance.
Right.
Based on the value of teamwork, we've seen what teamwork can offer, especially in issues of governance. That is not just a one-man show, but actually is a teamwork, okay, a team decision. Sometimes it's not easy as it sounds, but we've seen the benefits of it. The benefits are more greater. And I remember a few days upon my arrival to the island here, Father Sean Doggett brought me to greet the bishop, Bishop Clyde Martin. And we had a lovely session with him in his office, and he reiterated his contact and admiration for Kiltegan priests who came to this island in 1970s. And many of them labored here in this vineyard. And the names are well, you know, people still remember them.
Yes.
They still remember them.
Yes.
And then a few days ago too, Sean brought me down to the cemetery where we visited the grave of one of our men who died there, Patrick Walsh, Father Patrick Walsh, who died there back in 70, you know, shortly after he arrived here. Again, a true presence of Kiltegans here, a shared history, heritage, and above all, and we said, as a bishop himself, so he's looking forward to continuity or a synergy of such level continuing, even with the new missionaries. And there was so much concern about Sean being alone here. Like,
exactly.
You know, what is the society doing about it?
Yes.
And we had a very genuine conversation, dialogue with the bishop over that, our future in the island and the church here, but admiration of the great work our men, our early missionaries, you know, the seed they planted in this island.
Certainly.
That alone, it was an impetus for me, like a young fellow coming to a new land like this and hearing that. So even for those who might come here, be appointed here in future, they will have a place to operate from. You know, foundation is already been laid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, we cannot speak of this diocese without referring to the Kiltegan. And here you are, you know, and he's allowed you to trace the steps. Now, one of the things we wanted to clarify here, you have St. Patrick's Missionary Society, but we have the other religious congregations, you know, they use congregations and so. Why have you used the term society?
A bit of history on the foundation of the society and the pontifical status of the society is St. Patrick's is a congregation of pontifical right, and you know, and members, I wouldn't call them secular priests, but they'll be like originally they'll be like diocesan priests.
Okay.
Unlike religious who are in congregations like Franciscans, Dominicans, who take vows of, let's say, vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. We take oath of membership. We take oath of membership. Oath of membership is allegiance to the authority that of the church and also of the society. So, and that oath of membership is taken on the eve of diaconate ordination. I mean, the eve of diaconate ordination, where you become a full member of the society. You take oath. But in between here, as during your formative years, for 10 years formation, at one stage around philosophy time, you'll take also oath of temporal membership. So it's an oath you take, a declaration of that, and promising allegiance and commitment to the leadership and formation program until when you become a permanent member, the eve of your diaconate.
So when you become a permanent member, do you take these vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, or you don't take it at all?
No, we live them. We don't need to take them. We live those vows. Okay. Yeah, we live. Our life itself is a witness, a witness of how, whether a call to obedience or even call to poverty, witness of life of poverty in the midst of social-cultural context we find ourselves in.
How important, you speak of your charism.
Yeah.
What is the specific charism or charisms
Yeah.
of the St. Patrick's Missionary Society?
We have a charism that Christ's love compels us, which is like our motto. But the question is, where are we compelled to? So that's where we actualize this charism. And often it's primary places that have never been evangelized. So we call them primary evangelization areas.
Okay.
Yeah. But what we can call our motto of the charism is that Christ's love compels us, drawn from 1 Corinthians here, letter St. Paul to Corinthians. So it is our belief that that love is what compels us to be available to the missions and to respond to different needs of the people in the missions. Yeah. No.
Who is St. Patrick? How is he related to that order?
Good. Our founder is Patrick Whitney, and he died in 1942, around there. We took after St. Patrick, who is the patron saint of Ireland, a man who evangelized a small island just like here called Ireland, where all our missionaries came from, our first missionaries came from. So we took up the name of the patron saint of the land.
Okay.
But in terms of the foundations of the society, we were founded in 1932 in Nigeria.
Yes.
By a group of diocesan priests from Ireland who were coming to Ireland, to Africa, especially West Africa, Nigeria, responding to a particular need of the church through an invitation of a Spiritan or Holy Ghost bishop called Bishop Joseph Shenha. He's the one who invited them. So they responded to that call, and as time went by, the needs of the church increased, and there was a need. It gave them a chance to reflect, say, instead of committing 1, 2, 3 years in the missions in Africa, why not think of a missionary congregation that can entirely be entrusted, and serve that particular, yes. And that's how St. Patrick's came about, 1932.
It's interesting because St. Patrick just said his desire was to evangelize Nigeria.
Yes.
And I've often wondered, well, he's from Ireland and he's thinking Nigeria.
Yes.
So at least it was, you can say that it was something that was inspired by the Lord.
Yes.
Because we can see it manifested after all of these years, begin to see fruit from it. Now, you mentioned about community. I know with the religious congregations, they do live a life of community, like the Dominican congregation, the Clooney sisters, the Sisters of Sorrowful Mother, all of these various congregations that we have here. How important is community to the St. Patrick's Missionary Society? Because you do not send them one by one, and you are concerned about Father Sean here. He's not young, and you are concerned about him being here. How important, for the survival of the brothers to live in community.
Community still remains an integral part of our missionary calling, and we strive as best as we can to, as a leadership, always to see that, our brothers are supported, they live together in the community. Even in the posting, make sure that at least 2 or 3 are sent. That said now, but we've also had unique situations whereby in the mission, a member is left like Sean now. But a few years ago, Sean was not alone.
And Father Nolan here too.
Yeah, he had Nolan here and many others, but health issues came up and some of these members had to be withdrawn for medical, and retirement and all that. And that's why I've come here to see Sean has been on us and leadership. Look here, I'm alone here and I'm not growing any younger, Yeah, so it's part of that clarion call. I want that Sean wants to desires to have a community of young people here, young St. Patrick's priests, Kiltigans, will still foster that, the mission, and our presence here in the island. But community is very, very key. And even in the way we do our work, we've learned over the years, the mission call or the missionary call is not a one-man show. We've seen how that has impacted negatively on our members who became like lone rangers in the missions. And talk of mental health, talk of isolation, talk of there's a lot. Apart from the community you're living and serving, you as a priest, if you don't have any support system among your brothers in that community, you will feel burned out.
Yes.
And, it comes with so many challenges as well.
This is very interesting that you made this point, because you have some priests concerned about their future. There are people, diocesan priests, and they don't have these structures put in place in terms of what happens to them when old age strike or health issues, and what happens to them. So what I'm hearing from you is very encouraging, because young people think about these things and what will happen to me. Exactly. And it's very good that this is it is catered to, for persons who are interested in becoming members of St. Patrick's Missionary Society. Wonderful. So we started the interview on one just to find out your reason for being here, but we're going to backtrack a bit.
Okay.
Because you did not just arrive and to be a counselor on the central team. You came from a family. Can you speak to us a bit of your own background? Where you're from? What sort of
environment?
Yes, what environment? What is life like where you've come from in Kenya?
Okay. Yes. I'm from the northern part of Kenya, and that is a place called Turkana. Turkana is a desert, neighboring 3 countries. And the west is neighboring Uganda, which is part of East Africa. Then up in the north is neighboring Southern Sudan. And then in the east, we're neighboring Ethiopia. So Turkana is placed there. It's a dry area, unlike Grenada, where you have so much green vegetation everywhere and mountain. Turkana is flat land, full of sand and sand dunes. It's sand, pure white sand, like the ones you see in Grand Anse Beach. That is what covers my area.
Wow.
And then we also have a lake in Turkana. So the Turkana people are nomadic people, or pastoralists.
Like
nomadic are
Abraham
pastoralists, they move around. We don't have permanent shelters.
Wow.
We own cows and livestock. Cows, sheep, goats, and donkeys and camel. We own them. And all the pastoralist communities value animals. It's a sign of status quo. If you want to know to measure the wealth of a family, of a man, is the number of animals that he has. It's not about the money.
Something like Abraham.
Yes, exactly. The Old Testament lifestyle of the Jewish people.
Yes.
That is it. But at the same time, that kind of lifestyle also has disadvantaged my people in so many ways. When Turkana experiences drought, we are forced to move to neighboring countries in search of pasture and water for the animals. And that generates conflicts with those neighboring communities. And we've been at loggerheads for so long, and then killing each other, and then stealing of animals as well in the form of what they call cattle wrestling. So that has been going on, but that is a community in which I belong, or I come from. And the family, I'm from a family of 6 children. Out of the 6, we were 2 boys. My elder brother passed on there in 2003 when I just joined St. Patrick's Missionary in initial formation stage. I joined seminary at that
Lord
time.
Took one.
Yes, and then I'm the only man. And then the other ones are girls.
Okay.
So that is where I've been. Those are my family members. In terms of my parents, I lost my parents when I was young, in my tender age. And then I was brought up by my grandmother. Yes, and my uncle. So, and that's how the rest of my siblings also was spread to other uncles and all that. So I literally grew up with 3 of them.
Wow.
Yes. And then my uncle was a catechist to one of the St. Patrick's missionaries in the missions.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And my grandma was a very devout woman in the church there. Again, that is how I picked up my vocation, my early stages. Not so much becoming a priest. All I wanted was to finish school and come and do something to transform the life of my people. That's all I wanted. Yeah. And I had that dream, even going to join military, joining politics.
Yes,
the options were there.
Yeah.
But as time went by, through interactions in the secondary school, our secondary school was run by the church. The Catholic Church evangelized Turkana in 60s, and they did a lot. They did a lot for the Turkana people, because our place was marginalized by the government, the Kenyan government, for many years after independence. And that meant that any foreigners coming to Turkana were restricted. They had to get permits. So we were left like, how do I say, endangered species, like, I mean, sorry to use it, but more like that. But that opened a lot of vulnerability and increased the gaps in terms of we couldn't access better education, couldn't access better health care, insecurity was, security was always a challenge. And many other things were so much disadvantaged. But the church came and restored hope and gave us a chance to access all these facilities. So the first schools in Turkana, hospitals, were all Catholic schools. And that's where I went. So, but the formative years of Nazareth school, Nazareth stage, very, very difficult. Studying and schooling under trees, like no formal class.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I was impressed here when chatting with the young kids here. At the age of 4, 5, 6, they're speaking good English. I got to know how to read and write in class 5. Class 5, you're only left with 3 years to finish to go to secondary school. Like you could read comfortably, and understand what you read, what you're reading at class 5. Yes. But you see, because of the level of education we received, and the marginalization that was there, but the Catholic Church gave us hope. It filled that gap. And when we passed primary school, I went to secondary school, we competed with the rest of the students from the rest of the country.
Wow.
Yes, and we beat them.
Very good foundation.
Yes, and we're very proud.
Yes.
And that's what I always tell people. It's not so much about the environment, where you're growing from or how you've come. No, you can beat that environment and have your dreams set ahead, and look, your dreams will take you far.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful to hear what the church has done, because many people believe that what they have to say about the church now, sometimes the history is so very important. And to hear you speak of this, and the Catholic Church came in to do just that, and it continues to do this.
Yes.
Wherever the presence of the church is, to help to bring people out of these abject poverty and these situations, and to give them this opportunity.
And what we've seen now in the past, let's say 20 years, through these schools and other institutions that were built up by the church, we have a new lifestyle among these nomadic groups. Settled Turkanas now,
so
who are civil servants. Some are still moving around with the animals, and they don't want to go to school. They don't know how to read or write and all that, but we respect them.
Yes.
We respect them. But those who have gone to school, gotten jobs and settled, are now forming a settled community. And that settled community has become a bedrock of supporting those guys who are running up and down with the animals. Because they're not in the table of policy making in governments, we are there now to talk on their behalf. I get what I'm saying? Yes, they're not in any international platform, we are there. Even advocating for their rights in neighboring countries, especially the right to graze in those lands, and ability to negotiate with the leadership of those neighboring countries, top leadership, not just that conflict area alone, but top leadership. And so that we have a little bit of peace, give them a grace period of 3 months, let them survive, get out of the drought season, and then come back to the land. So, and that has worked.
That's good.
Yeah, that has worked.
So the prospect seem very good.
Yes.
For Kenya this time, in terms of the role of the St. Patrick's Missionary Society in continuing to help to alleviate these problems that people are encountering. This is very interesting. I heard that there's a story that Father Sean was saying about you and your name. Even your name is Father Patrick. Did they name you Father Patrick, or did they give you that name when you made your permanent?
No. I got that name from my baptism. But I kept on asking, even my parents, my uncle, how did I get this? I said, no, there was a Kiltigan priest here called Father Patrick that served in our mission. And they called them St. Patrick's priest. You know, in those days in Africa, they were all Irish priests. That's all we knew.
That's it, yes.
Yeah, nobody even bothered to know whether they're Kiltigians or no. They're all Irish.
Irish, yes.
But this one was remembered by my uncle, who gave me the name Patrick.
Oh.
Yeah, after that Irishman. But I've never even met the man.
Wow.
At least, but I've had a chance to meet the man, other priests, St. Patrick's priests that came to work in Turkana, and those who supported me through education. I met him, and one of them was very instrumental in my upbringing and my growth, and even knowing the faith, and even joining the missionary life. And just died this year in February. It's called Falajeri Okaro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after you finish your secondary school and so on, to enter into the St. Patrick's Missionary Society, what was the procedure for doing that? How did you enter into that order? And I guess your education and formation continued.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes. Interestingly, before you join, you have to meet certain criteria before you join the St. Patrick's Mission congregation. First of all, you must have good grades in A level. You must you must have good grades. In Kenya, the cutoff point to join St. Patrick's that time was C+.
Okay.
So if you get above C+, you join. Yes,
okay.
And then you have you must score well in English and sciences as well.
But you speak English pretty well.
It's because of the Irish missionaries that taught in our school.
Ah, okay.
Yes, we had Irish volunteers who will come in for 6 months, 1 year, teachers, and then they go back. These are university students coming in for intern programs and all that. But our school was privileged. So when you pass all these subjects, you qualify, and then you begin the process of recruitment.
Okay.
For my own case, I didn't do well in English. I struggled with English. Yes, I struggled with English. But this Irish priest, this friend of mine, helped me, put me through some, English classes and all that. And I really benefited a lot from that. Sciences, I was okay with that. And then I scored a B-, which will have taken me to university. Okay. Yeah, for admission. And then, but I didn't join. So I came back. That was the year 2000. I finished school in 2000. Okay. That's when I finished my Form 4, A level. So I came back home, and I was very active in the local church, in the youth. I was the chairman of the youth, and then great organizer in the youth activities and St. Vincent de Paul, and and Legion of Mary. Those activities that brought me closer to the church, and I gave my heart for that. I mean, to those that I met during that meeting. So it's in the course of that, when I had finished my secondary school, that a thought came of joining missionary, joining priesthood. All I wanted, and my family were prepared, was I would join university, join college, get one big job, come and support them. But they were disappointed one evening when I came and told them, I've changed my decision now, and I'm thinking of, joining seminary to be like Father Jerry, who was our parish priest. I want to be like him. But interestingly, the Kiltigian priests in the diocese, one of them was the vocations director. And I was attending, was inviting me to come and see discernment, discernment workshops. And I was going, so he gave me the contacts, and he wanted me to join the diocese. And deep within me, I said, no, I don't want to be like the diocesan priest. I want to go out of my village. I want to go and preach the word of God outside Kenya, or even outside my people. And but as God will have it, in the vocational materials that vocation director was sharing, the contacts at the back of it was St. Patrick's Missionary Vocational Director in Nakuru, another town in Kenya. I took that and I wrote to the man. I didn't write to him. So I played a sharp one there. So, so the vocational director there wrote to me and told me he's happy. I was the first man in my village, in that whole of Turkana, to apply. And that was quite exciting. And then I came and I told this vocation director, Father John Heinold, Irishman, and I told him I changed my mind and I've started making correspondence with the vocation director of St. Patrick's in Nakuru. He said, what? We need you here. I said, no, I've made my mind. I want to join St. Patrick's.
You want to go there, yes.
And I got huge support from my parish priest, Father Jerry. He encouraged me. You say, if that is your heart, where your heart wants to be, pray over it.
Yes, yes.
And that, our discernment period before we joined seminary was 2 years after high school. And all that was busy helping my elder brother at home and just doing, you know,
Yes,
enjoying my youthfulness.
Yes.
Yes.
But it is interesting because many of our young people, when they go to university,
Yeah.
They may not even go back to the church.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Or just, sparsely, they would just drop by.
Yeah.
But you had that desire to come back and serve.
Yes.
This is quite interesting. What would you say to our young people, those who, they just want to excel, it's okay to excel, to do your best in whatever area, but in terms of a relationship with the church and what God is asking, what would you say to somebody who is listening to you right now, who has just come back from studying and maybe the church doesn't speak to them as it spoke to you?
My message to the young people is that, look, in their youthfulness, they can still serve God wherever they are. God wants the best in us and out of us. That is just very important. Sometimes, school, academic life takes over. And we think that maybe the knowledge you're gaining, science, knowledge, innovations are enough. No. Character formation is far beyond the knowledge you gain. And I think that's where many young people get it all wrong. Like, in as much as you acquire so much worldly knowledge on innovations and science and all, but religion plays a part in forming our conscience and building our character. You emulate the example of those who are already in the church, whom you see every day. Even if you may not get that from your family setup, but in the church setup, like in Africa, we have small Christian communities, basic Christian communities. For me, that is, many of us have found their vocation in those basic Christian communities. And interestingly, even among those basic Christian communities members, many of them will not be educated people. And that is how our parents were. Our parents never knew how to, even my grandmother never knew how to write and read, no. But they were able to appreciate the fact that one of their sons comes to read to them the word of God during that meeting of basic Christian community.
Awesome. Yes.
That was just amazing. And it was the young people who were invited to take up the readings, even visitation to the elderly ones and all that. But nowadays, they're busy, the TV has taken over, computer games have taken over. We've no time even to dedicate little space we have, even thinking about maybe joining in, let's say, legionary walks, visiting the sick, elderly ones in our community. Those are things we can do as young people. Yes. And there's a lot you learn from those visitations. You pray, but at the same time, you share with the people you meet. Yes. You broaden your understanding of so many things. Your worldview, broadens. And also the way you relate with your peers and also this age bracket of elderly people you're visiting. You strike a chord, a certain chord of relationship that is unique. Yes. But my image of the church has always been that of, church has open hands, like a mother welcoming everybody. The young people are easily judged in our churches. That's unfortunately. And that's what keeps many of them. I can't go there because you'll say I'm a bad man. So you get a category of young people that are perceived as good. And often those are those who are near the church. The bad ones are those who don't come to church. That is the classification. And that is myopic. That's a very dangerous and simplistic way of judging people. I've met sincere, genuine young people who struggle to come to church, but they're sincere and doing good works outside there. So it's a question of just reaching out to them. And when after my ordination, I was sent, my ordination in 2013, I was sent to Nigeria, in the northern part of Nigeria. I worked in a parish set up for 1 year, and then the rest of 5 years, 6 years, I worked in the youth ministry, full time. And I dedicated my life to youth, working with the youth. And it was just simple, being with them, listening to their story. Nobody wants to listen to them. They're judged, and therefore, they form their own cliques. And then they start, those cliques are sources of destruction. Addictions will come in, cultic relationships, come in. And what I realized in this youth ministry was the fact that we were able to meet them where they were.
Yeah, yeah.
They felt accepted.
Yes.
They came back to us.
Yes, yes.
So we built up, St. Patrick's built up a youth village. And we had a program running called CEL, Sharing Education and Learning for Life. Sean Doggett knows that program.
Okay.
And that was quite instrumental. We trained them as facilitators. Facilitators, trainees of trainees. Then send them to universities, colleges, you know, and we follow them months later and mentor them again.
Wonderful.
This goes for a long period, 4 years. Some of them became leaders in their communities, politicians, and they all give thanks. They all give credit to that particular moment when we went after them and brought them back.
Yes, the formation.
Yes. So, yeah. So not so much of the church, but realizing that, yes, the church is still inviting them to other avenues where they can grow. The potentials are there. Yes. The young people, the energy, the untapped energy, the talent.
Yes.
I saw them where I got accident in that place, Vendôme.
Is that Vendôme?
They were dribbling me, all the skills, basketball skills.
So you tell us about
they were just
experience.
passing between my legs, like, you know, look, I just admired their talent, that age. Why can't we tap and go after these young guys?
Yes.
And meet them there.
Yes.
Meet them there. Don't come with your theology and philosophy. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yes.
Speak their language,
Yes.
like, you know.
Yes.
Speak their language. And they will surely come to church.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, this takes me to the point of the rise in vocations in Africa. We are hearing it, whether it is for the sisters, the religious, and the rise in vocation. Can we say that probably what you shared can be responsible for that, or just they are not corrupt, they are not exposed to as much as we are exposed to in the West? What would you think contributes to the rise in vocation in Africa?
Yeah, the rise of vocations in Africa can be attributed to so many factors. Okay. I gave you the genesis of the role that the church has played over the years from early stages. People grow up in knowing the church, you know, they grow up in the church. But that is not just enough. The church has also been seen as a message of hope, a voice of the voiceless, voice of justice. So in many societies that were marginalized and underprivileged and underdeveloped, the church gave them that voice. And often what we saw is the church kind of nurtured a certain group of young people with a voice who are advocates for justice. Young people who are able to serve the community, go back to their communities and serve them. They're involved in rural development initiatives or grassroots initiatives that are meant to foster development.
Okay.
So in the same vein, many young people growing up in the culture, no doubt too, poverty is real in Africa. So when a church gave people voice, also gave people hope. Those who scaled through education, got better jobs, you know, worked in the church institutions, got well paid, their income improved. And then some eventually said, yes, we can serve God in this way. So those could be other factors, you know, that could, you know, might be motivating people to join in numbers.
Yes, yes.
But interestingly, those numbers are also shaky now. Yes, they're not guaranteed all over every time. There are communities like my community. There are not many of us in priesthood. We're very small. We're very few. Yes. And then those due to some cultural, you know, socio-cultural practices or beliefs.
Yes.
Like a young man has to finish and come and support a family. A girl has to finish whatever is doing and then come and be a woman. So vocation to religious life as reverend sisters or nuns in my village is a struggle.
Okay.
It's a struggle because there's a great feeling that if you join that life, you won't marry, you break your generation.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with us. Before I was ordained, my uncle was saying, like, you know, what do you mean now? You mean you not marry? I said, yes, uncle. I'll not marry. I'll be like this other priest here now. There no children. But it took a while before my people came to understand that and accept the fact that a priest, this is a decision making. You will not marry, and this is a life you've chosen. So, as factors that are motivating young people joining it, this could be one of it. Like, you can develop yourself also in priesthood. Like, opportunity is given there for you. As much as to serve as a missionary, but your potentials are also, you're given a chance to grow, really, as a human being, as a human person.
There is a concept that some of the Africans are taking, seizing the opportunity to enter into religious life, to escape poverty. How true is that?
That is, I wouldn't think that is relative. The history of vocation, even if you take Europe, back in 14th century, 13th century, 16, 14, up to 18 and 19th century, people, poverty was real in many parts of Europe. And you could see the number of those who ended up in in seminaries in those days. So, yes, coming from a background of a lack, scarcity and all that can propel, give desire to have that. But I wouldn't attribute that entirely to that, because let me tell you, if that is a genuine reason, if that is the only motive that somebody has, once they see the money or see opportunity of wealth of the church, they will run away and leave priesthood.
Fantastic.
Yes. In equal terms, there are many in Africa that have left priesthood and married or started business ventures as well. But the same thing also in Europe. So it's a thin line. Yes. But yeah, it's a thin line. But I think God knows our deeper intentions. I always give a joke when I'm giving vocation talk, what motivated me to priesthood in a joking way. I was an altar server to our parish priest. We joined him going to our station early in the morning. When he comes back, in the kitchen there will be a big chicken and fish and everything. Very nice meal. We cannot get that meal in the village. It was only father. Father lived in a nice house. He was the only one with a car. Who doesn't want to live a better life like that? Everybody's admiration in life is to have a stable and a kind of a good life.
Yes.
Is that not so?
Yes, of course.
Exactly.
Yes.
So can you imagine that remote motivation? Seeing father living this kind of life. I'm not exaggerating, but the man had a good appetite and he enjoyed food. But as a young guy, that guy lived a unique life. And I say yes, that could be in the remotest of my motivation. But as time goes by, 10, 11 years in formation alone, your intention will be purified. Your intentions will be purified. If you came only because of food, then the food in seminary is enough to fatten you and you leave.
Yes.
So the point I'm trying to make is this: that idea has been selling, but we can't also overrule it. It could be true. If you become a priest, you will have a degree. You'll be the only educated man in the village. That's a fact. In many African countries, the priest is the most educated man. Yes. Yes, he's the most educated man.
Up too.
Yes, everybody in the village where we were, they want me to be a doctor. I don't have any medical background, but I was a little doctor in the village. I was a priest. I was a carpenter, a mechanic, everything.
Yes.
So can you imagine that? And then the 10 years of formation doesn't prepare you mostly in this. We'll talk about formation and all that. Doesn't give you really preparations. You are supposed to be an accountant. Everything. The community looks at you at a different lens. So no doubt, those privileges that come with the office ministry, those privileges are made by everybody, Africans or even the Europeans.
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing. And we attribute that to the generosity of the lay people. In all fairness, once you're a priest, you never lack. You never lack. People of God have been very generous.
This is interesting. And really, it is really a comfort, and a light for persons who are thinking in that direction. Now, just by way of wrapping up, we need to speak a little bit of your experience here in Grenada. I know you were a little delayed today because you had an incident that took place that you have a lot of lessons to share from it. You're coming to Grenada. When you landed, or perhaps you were able to see when you were flying over the land. What's your real impression of this land, Grenada?
My impression of Grenada was built before I left Kenya. I went on Google
Okay.
to see the map of Grenada where it is.
Okay.
Where is this island?
You hadn't heard of it before. Well, I mean, you would have heard of it.
Sean had already told us a lot. Even at the chapter, he had a little, given us a bit of information. But I really wanted to know a lot on a few things. The political situation of Grenada, the socio-economic, and then I was also interested in the youth population, the young population in this island.
Because you have that passion.
Yes. I really wanted to know more about it. And then coming in here, what I saw, the mountains, the sea, that alone baffled me.
Yes.
I couldn't believe, there's no flat land here apart from the sea. Everywhere green.
Yes, the mountains.
I told Sean, I miss sand now. I miss sand. I miss the sand dunes in my village. At home, this green substance, vegetation, we are fighting over it. A little part that has this green vegetation. Everybody wants to bring their cow there. It's a source of conflict in some parts of the world. Here is a blessing. You're living in this lavish life. I'm telling you, Grenada is blessed. This is what I said. You are blessed. See peace. Since I came here, I've not even encountered a gunshot. In some parts of Africa, gunshot is a norm. You must hear it. But here, there's a certain level of tranquility, peace in the land.
Yes.
And then on 19th of this month, I witnessed a National Heroes Day there. I was part of that, but I read the history.
Yes.
I read the history.
Yes.
And Father Sean Doggett also shared his own history.
It's fantastic.
And many of our men who worked here have also written some bit of history, pieces there about Grenada, the early years of revolution, post-revolution, life and pre-revolution, and all that. And I could identify that the struggles in the revolution were also struggles in Africa in so many ways.
So we have some things in common.
Yeah, so many, yes. Come to my experience now. I've had a lovely experience here, I must say that. I've had a chance to tour around the island. Father Sean Doggett gave me a tour of the island. We went to Kariakou Island and Pit Martinique.
Yes.
We celebrated masses there.
He did a lot of work
Yes.
there.
Kiltigan priest worked there.
Yeah.
And the people still celebrate and remember those men as heroes of faith. And that makes me proud. Coming here, was in St. David there, celebrated Mass. I was in Gulf, celebrated Mass there also. And then recently I was in Beach Grove.
Beach Grove.
Beach Grove. And then our home base, Bolio.
Yes.
Yes. So,
beautiful view, I think.
Yeah, beautiful view of the island. Get it from there. And then the little incident I had was just on Saturday.
Okay.
The child in me came out when I saw the children playing basketball. I couldn't control it. Even when I knew I had Mass in less than an hour, I jumped and entered there, not knowing that
what was waiting
that would bring me down. But what touched me from that experience was that not so much of the bruises yes, I've incurred. No, the love and the care for those from those kids. When I fell down, I'm weighing 82 kgs. How they managed to lift me off the ground? 82 kgs.
And you allowed them
I was on ground looking helpless and vulnerable. The whole me, I couldn't believe it. But I was, from that incident, something struck me. Patrick, you're now 42. There's no Patrick who was in his... But that is half age of Sean. There's nothing to brag about it. But I was touched by the compassion of those kids and the love they showed me. They ran up and down trying to bring tissues and ice cubes, to clean the blood in my body. That stayed with me.
Yes.
And on Sunday yesterday, I went back to that church in Van Diem. And, I still told them, look here, I'm coming back. As Moses, the Lord told Moses to the children of Israel how they should treat a stranger. I was treated. That was faith, a lived faith, faith in action.
Yes. Great.
I was a stranger in their midst, but they made me feel one, one of their own. I never felt a stranger here for the last 1 month I've been around.
Great.
And I'm going back on Wednesday with great memories of this island, hoping to come back another time.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Please tell us a bit of the future for the Kiltegan, the St. Patrick's Missionary here for Grenada, because as we said in the beginning, we only have Father Sean at the moment. Is there any intention to have some more Kiltegans join him here in the future?
The future is bright, I can say that. The future is bright. As you know, this is the mission of God. It's not our mission. It's not a human endeavor. So the future is bright. Sean will hold brief, but we hope there'll be young men who will be sent here to continue this mission. Mm-hmm. The mission in Grenada is so dear to us.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. As a missionary congregation.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And there will be new face, young face in the island, young Kiltegans, Africans. They also write their own history in the new page. Mm-hmm. But that history will be a continuation of the old history that left, that was left and handed over to us by the Irish Kiltegans that worked here. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you so very much, for this wonderful time together.
Thank you.
For your deep sharing, for your experience, for the hard years, and that you continue to yield to the will of God. Continue to bear the witness, and we wish you all the very best in your new office as counselor for the central team of the St. Patrick's Missionary Society. May God bless you and your family and all the people. Do give them the spice, love of Grenada when you get back. I hope you are going back with some of our spices, to remind yourself of this wonderful island. So thank you, Father Patrick Esekon from the St. Patrick's Missionary Society. May God bless you, and we continue to pray for each other.
Thank you very much for having me in this interview.
Yes.
Wish you all the best. And welcome to Kenya.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hope to come one day.
Yes. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Christ be with me and within me. Christ behind me and before. Christ beside me and to win me. Christ to comfort and restore. Christ beneath me and above me. Christ in quiet and in danger. Christ in hearts of all that love me. Christ in mouth of friend and stranger.